Good evening, people watching my stream on July 21st, 2026. Thank you for being here tonight on my stream on July 21st, 2026. How was your July 21st, 2026? Mine was pretty alright. How was yours? I want to know what you did. I want to know what you got up to. I want to know how you were. Alright. Hi, Nimby. Hello, Lonk. Oh, woo. We will finish chapter 1 today. Is that what the question means? I think so. I think there's only 2 chapters inside of this chapter left. And we finish 2 or more chapters every single time, so I think that today we're gonna finish it. I feel like I accomplished nothing. What happened? What did you do? I guess if my question is what you did today, maybe the answer was nothing. But surely you didn't do nothing. You tried to do something at least. It just hasn't paid off yet. No pause. It's because I'm really good at knowing what day it is today. I showed it off by telling you the date 3 times, I think. Another long day at the long day factory. Oh gosh. It's okay. Maybe tomorrow will be a less long day. It was hot. That's about it. It was pretty warm here too. Hello, kitty. Kitty, I'm a sheep. Kitty, Essie. Not today. Only in pictures, not on video. Hey, Essie. Hi, Rogue Gamer. Thanks for being here today. Essie, what's your favorite color? My favorite color is a tie between not pink. Oh my god. Purple and yellow. Wrong P word, sorry. My favorite color is a tie between purple and yellow. But speaking of pink and favorite colors, my second favorite color is a tie between pink and orange. But if we're talking about color combinations, then my favorite color combination is pink with brown. I slept all day. Lucky, you're living the dream. I'm off for a week now. It's all good. How come everybody got a day off except me? It's a hot one today. I bet it was. Essie's fascination with P. No! Pink with brown? Yeah, pink and brown. It's the best color combination ever. It's super tasty. It's super cute. Oh, and hi, Essie. Hi, chat. Hi, Fur Tree. Thanks for being here today. How have you been? Hydration is pretty cool, you guys. Search for Essie? Search for me. Why? I don't think I'm missing. Or is it, Hi, Essie. Hi, thank you for being here today, KG. How are you? I'm so happy at Essie time. You're right, it is Essie time. Essie time is always Essie time when you are Essie, unfortunately. What do the pink and brown represent? I don't know. I just like those colors together. Dude, they just look the best. Brown just kind of goes with everything really good. Another good combination is blue and brown. Another really good one is green and brown. Everything just looks good with brown. I love brown. Found her? Wait, who? Me? I wasn't even missing in the first place. Hey, for a tree, found her. What? Tasty. Do not eat crayons, Essie? Maybe. You should know how defiant I am. Pink and brown give me yum chocolatey vibes. Super tasty. I am fantastic. You feel fantastic, and you never felt as good as how you do right now, except for maybe when you think of how you felt that day, when you felt the way that you do right now. Smiley emoji. Hope you're not on too many drugs. Blue and brown, you say? Yeah, blue and brown's another good combination, which I guess you are blue and brown. Your picture is blue and brown. Essie, make sure to drink coffee? No, it's my bedtime. I'm not gonna drink coffee at bedtime. I'm a responsible girl. Essie might be the only person on the planet that likes the color brown. Other people like the color brown. The color brown goes with everything. It's like black and white. How do you see? Hi, thanks for being here today. How have you been? I appreciate your company. Coffee is my crack. I can have it anytime. I'm not gonna have a coffee right before I go to bed. Doesn't matter how fancy my coffee machine is. Doesn't matter what I put in it. I mean, the more stuff you put in it, the worse it is gonna be before bedtime. No, I like pink, brown, and green. It gives cozy vibes, don't they? So comfy, so cute. Brown goes so good with everything. Take a sip of my water. Brown is a common complementary color I use, so it works out. Yeah, super awesome. Are those other people who like brown in the room with us right now? Guys, you like brown, right? You like brown, right? Please say yes. Please. I'm sure there's at least somebody here. A very not brave sheep to not have coffee before bed? Well, it's not that I'm not brave, it's that I know that would be bad for me. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's that I know exactly what the consequences are, which brings me security in the fact that I will not be doing it. Brown looks nice on certain things. Yeah, I think so too. Wood and leather brown are great. I mean, there's any color I hate. Brown is a nice warm color. Yes, I like brown. See, we have brown enjoyers. We have people who have good taste in colors in my chat. Don't worry about it. No worries. Speaking about my chat, I usually ask you a question in my streams for our poll because I think it's really fun. Today, our question is, do you think we'll finish before the 2-hour mark? I think we can. And again, I could be wrong. Maybe there's more than 2 more chapters left. But like, I feel like we're just like right there. We're right about to be done. We're like right on the verge of it. I think we can finish. I'm voting yes on Essie's poll today. Hi Essie, hi Tathra, thanks for being here today. How have you been? What did you vote in the poll? I don't think there's any color I hate. I don't have any colors that I hate either. I definitely have a least favorite, but it doesn't mean that I don't like it. Brown makes up a lot of colors I need to use for Fire Emblem related stuff. Gotcha. Fire Emblem is a very brown game. When I add half and half to my coffee, it turns brown? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I have been skipping words when typing all day. Oh no, maybe it's about bedtime for you, Fur Tree. Hey, Teth, I believe you can do it, Asila. I think I can do it too. Thank you. There's a lot of people voting no. But I think that we can do it. It's gonna be easy. I'll just have to be a speed reader today. I have to go super quick. I have 2 drinks on me today. I have a cup of water and I have my tea. It's super hot because I only made it like 15 minutes ago, so I don't know how soon I'm gonna be able to actually drink it. But I have water for now. I just voted no for fun. What? You're my enemy just like as a hobby? Brain muddled today? It's okay. Don't worry about it. I voted no, but I don't know how far along you are. I haven't been able to follow this playthrough. He doesn't believe in me. I could finish it in 2 hours if I started at the beginning right now, I bet. I voted no as reading or art making takes time. Well, yeah, it does. Everything takes time. But we can do it in less than 2 hours. Sippy emoji, that's me. It'll be a close one for sure, definitely. It's gonna be intense. It's gonna be a real race. Hi, Chubby Cheeks Essie? That's not very nice. Carbon fiber is mine, but it will be the death of me 3D print parts. Well, good luck to you then. I send you your luck. Oh my gosh. Doesn't tea also have caffeine in it? Not all teas have caffeine in it. That's not like a tea rule. I don't have teas that have caffeine. I have normal teas. I know nothing, but this has to be the part where the dominoes fall, so I voted yes. Exactly. Things are finally heating up. And now the game is gonna be over. Because it's the important part, pretty much. No seems more probable. No one believes in me. How many reads can you read in a second? Probably like 1,000. Hi there. Sweet tea is my favorite. Sweet tea. Very good cold drink. Oh? The amount of caffeine in tea depends on the type of tea. Yeah, and none of my teas have that in it. I mean, the facial cheeks. That's still not very nice. Lurking emoji, enjoy your stay. Oh, Essie is a tea lover. I love tea, yeah. Herbal tea is great. Hi, Essie. Hi, Autophobic. Thanks for being here tonight. How have you been? By the way, Asila, I sure do like your model. Very cute and pretty eyes. Thank you. That's super nice of you. It was made by @LESHU_310 on Twitter. She's super awesome, and I hope that she opens her request soon. Please. Please open your request, please, mama, please. Sweet tea or southern tea? I thought sweet tea was southern. I've never been a real cowboy, though. Puffy cheeks are peak? I can't puff my cheeks. I don't have that. Alright, another sip of my water. We'll start at the 20-minute mark as we usually try to. Hi, as long. I like green tea. It has caffeine, but it doesn't seem like a lot. Doesn't really affect me. Gotcha. Pretty tasty. Sweet tea is southern tea. Unsweetened tea is unsouthern. So is unsweetened tea northern tea? Southern? Yeah, southern. But I guess sweet tea was southern tea, so we don't have to worry about it. We solved what that is. You like chamomile tea, though? Yeah, I like chamomile. Hello? Hey, Ryurka, welcome back to the stream. I'm happy to have you here. Souther? Why are we saying souther multiple times? Why is southern always translate to southern? Sweet tea is popular in the South. Yes, gotcha. Her accent is cute. My accent? I speak like I'm from California. I don't think there's much cute about a California girl accent. Hey, Rayu. Hi, Long. Yeah, I'm happy to have you. Green tea. I don't know. I don't think there's anything special about the way I talk. I say a lot of things wrong. Maybe that's cute. Maybe you're making fun of me. Oh my god, my neck popped like really bad. It's been an issue I've been having for the past like 2 days. Ow. It's extra sweet if it's in the South. I'm okay if my drink's not that sweet, I think. Souther? Coffee? I enjoy how Essie talk and make my brain happy. I kind of just talk normally, I think. You speak sheep? Maybe a little. Wait, you're a California girl? You bet. I wasn't born here, but I spent most of my life here. The way you said southern is funny, that is why? Southern? How else am I supposed to say it? You know what they say, California girls are unforgettable? Maybe they can make an exception for me. I'm not that special. Are you in chat? Hi, thanks for being here today. How have you been? California girls are unforgettable. Go check a chiropractor. I don't want a chiropractor to touch my neck. They're gonna decapitate me. Make fun of you, no? Say how cute you are, yes? Well, it's pretty much making fun of me, I think, so... Everybody has an accent. People who aren't used to it can find it endearing. Well, yeah, I guess that is true. Everybody has an accent. People from California have an accent. British people have an accent. People from Canada have an accent. People don't speak English who speak English have an accent. Everything is an accent, if it's not what you're familiar with. Hi, Moon. That's not how you say southern? Spell it out for me. Never seen anyone speak like this? That's a good thing. It sounds like a bad thing. If my goal is to fit in with everybody else, then how do I fix my speech? Someone nitpick my speeches right now. Somebody tell me how to fix it. I say give me a good tea, please. Speaking of California, I present to you, I love lemon. And I'm recommending you I love lemon because I love lemon. It's a tea that is from California, and you'll never guess what it tastes like. I'll touch your neck and teach you how to pronounce southern. Dang, and you'll teach me how to drive too? Usually. You may find the way I talk funny or charming. I think everybody talks just fine and normal. I speak fake accents sometimes. The green tea was more of a joke. I see. Most people pronounce it southern. Southern? Well, it's... Inside of your never eat soggy waffles, is it north, east, west, south? I don't think it is. So I'm not gonna say that. Southern? I'm not saying that either. It might be a dialect thing, maybe. With lemon? Maybe it has lemon in it. I don't know. If it ain't broke, do not try to fix it. I like the way you say treasure. I think I'm cured of my treasure curse. I haven't been saying treasure recently. Say sa out her. Sa out. Sa out. Sa out. I don't think sa out is right either. Saw the. Soldern? Soldern? I like your funny words, sheep woman. Why? Satan? South? Saturn? I think these are all different places. Twain Cross? Hey, you just did it? Southern? Southern. I don't know. I think I'm gonna keep saying Southern. Hello's cutie Essie. Oh, wrong sheep. Wrong sheep named Essie. You see, we're different people. I have only 3 letters in my Essie. I'm only ESI. There you go. But I'm happy to have you back. Welcome to the stream. There you go. That's it. Yes. Okay. I'm a professional Southern talker now. You just had it. What can I say? I'm a pro. I'm just kind of a prodigy at, you know, linguistics or whatever. Clapping. That's fine. You overpronounce the O like a Canadian. It's like Southern. It's Southern. Everyone I've ever talked to has said Southern, I think. Essie would never be a Mufa. Let's check her Northern. What do you say, Northern? There's another sheep named Essie? Coincidentally, yes. Sela has learned? Maybe. Will I use what you taught me? No, I'm too stubborn. Anyways, we're 22 minutes in! We need to continue gaming, especially if I want to beat the poll. Because I think we can do it in 2 hours. Alright. And to chapter 8. It's south? Yeah, it's south, not south. It's southern. Other people pronounce it like that? Maybe. Alright. New tips! We only got one this time. Notice from the police chief. VN time. Yeah, reading. I'm pressing the X to doubt. I'm coming to your house to beat you up. Except I'm not, because I know you like that. July 1st, 1982. The Departments 1 through 12. XX Prefectural Police Headquarters, Director General X. To the Chief Constable and all faculty managers regarding cases situated in the Hinamizawa village. Is auto on? Can we not have auto on, please? Can you... I want to go at my pace. Is it going to keep going? How do I make it stop? Are you done? Okay, buddy. Where's the log? Where's the log? I don't like this. If I have to read the whole dang thing like this, dude. I'm Southern? I see. From, like, Georgia or something? Okay, where was I? As cases in Shishibone City, Hinamizawa Village have been reported by certain sections of mass media. Texas, y'all turn me off then? It has drawn global attention, which is causing serious repercussions for the local residents. This has become a very serious situation. To protect the livelihood and prosperity of the residents, the following notice has been issued. 1. Designate the following criminal investigation as classified. How do I make it stop? How do I make it stop? It's going so quick. Don't exit. You're freaking me out, man. This is the scariest part of the game, honestly. Don't exit. Where's the law? Am I just stupid or something? Why am I struggling this much? 1. Designate the following criminal investigations as classified. Okinomiya Station 1982 case number X, Hinamizawa Village housewife murder, date June X. Okinomiya Station 1982 case number X. Non-disclosure of information. Okinomiya Station 1979 case number X. Hinamizawa Village site 4-man murder dated June X. Shira Station 1980 case number X. Shira National Park falling incident dated June X. Okinomiya Station 1981 case number X. Hinamizawa Village Shinto priest wife's disappearance dated June XX. Requesting self-restraint from each organization concerning the release of sensitive information. Please see attached reference material 1, 2, and 3. Management, X Prefecture Police Headquarters. Internal line, X. Police Affairs Department, XX. Now I'm allowed to click of my own will? I guess so. Can you not do that again? That was evil. The game is helping you reach this 2-hour mark. I know it is, but like it's against my will and I don't like it. I'm saving it so that I don't have to read it over again. All right. Continue. Lucila, hi Kono, thanks for being here. Okay. Also, is the audio okay? You can hear it all right? It took me a long time to realize last stream that the audio was a little low. Just let me know if I have to turn it up. I'm gonna pause here before you start. There's some soft, quiet background music here, so this shouldn't be super loud. This should be on the quieter end. Audio's fine. Excellent. That's the confirmation I was looking for. Weariness and a headache. Not a very nice way to start the day. What's wrong? Keiichi, you don't look so well. When did you go to sleep? It seemed that my mom had noticed a sullen state. Yesterday. I kept on waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination and forced myself to try and sleep. Except, not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Or maybe I just didn't remember doing it anymore after that. Even though I was able to get the breakfast table without incident, I still didn't feel at ease. It might be a cold. I don't really have an appetite. My, you do seem a little warm. Well, can you make it to school? Technically, I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, wouldn't it? It could have been that I hadn't been feeling well or the last few days because I really did have a cold. If I took some medicine and got a good day of rest, I might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. Startled, I look back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Rena. It was Rena. Rena-chan came to get you. What are you going to do? Are you going to take the day off? Rena was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. The lunches she made were delicious, and she always looked out for me. Why should I be so scared of something like that? It wasn't Rena's fault. It was probably mine. It had to have been my cold. It just had to be. I'll rest. Sorry. And I'll go send her off for you. Mom headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room. I didn't have the nerve to meet with Rena, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep-deprived, I quickly fell into a deep slumber. I'd only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table, I found lunch prepared and a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far away. It likely had to do with Dad's work. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They should probably be back sometime after dinner. On the note it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet. Take it and go to the hospital." There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right. I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it really was just leftovers from the morning, and just in case, went to the hospital. Normally, I'd never be here in the middle of the weekend, or weekday. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Following my mom's map, I took a road I usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Hinamizawa, it was far too grand. There was a parking lot and even a reserve spot for buses. They must be making a mint. I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until it was my turn to be seen. Maebara-san, please make your way to the examination room. After properly answering all the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with an old, "It's probably a cold." They gave me a shot and 3 days worth of medicine. I thought it was a little overboard, but it would clear away the gloomy feeling I've been having lately. Then it was worth it. I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. It just wasn't for that... If it just wasn't for that word. Must have been an Onikakushi. I wonder. She was still pretty young. Might have just eloped. With whom? That man from Tokyo who visits every season. That young one with the big camera? Didn't you know they were getting along pretty well? Were they talking about Tomitake-san? I could feel my ears perking up. I don't know about that, but you have to make preparations before you elope. Even know it or quit their job or something. It's an elopement because they didn't leave a note or message. They thought that I'll never see that young nurse's face again makes me rather sad. Takano-san is an upstanding young woman. She'll be fine wherever she goes. So her name is Takano-san. That woman with Tomitake-san. And she worked at the clinic? Oyashiro-sama's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing, and it didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape from Oyashiro-sama's shadow. But of course, Oyashiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hinamizawa. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned into a familiar street. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Was I really walking so far into the middle of the road where I'd be in the car's way? I moved farther off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around, peeved. Maebara-san, good day to you. It was Oishi-san. He stepped out of his car, AC on full blast, and waved at me. What's up today? School on break? Just not feeling well, so I took some days off. I was about to buy lunch and head back home. That's great. I'm just about to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together? If you're not feeling up for it, then don't mind me. I was just gonna lie down after going home anyways. And I didn't really have a cold. I doubt you want to eat at one of those local places. Let's go into town. It's a bit of a drive, is that alright? I know a pretty good place. I'd finally begun to understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hinamizawa. I went with Oishi-san, riding in his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie. Sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you? No. I called Rena, who had been listening to the phone conversation all that time, separated from me by just the door. Even now, in the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. With a big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with a sudden realization. That's right. This was where Tomitake-san died. They've hit a snag on the investigation regarding Tomitake-san. Oishi-san spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye. They believed it was caused by hallucinogens? Even on how he was clawing at his own throat. But a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with that premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads. You know the thing you see in comics all the time? Where there's a drug that, if you put it in them, it doesn't leave any traces? It exists. Sakinicol something or other? Well, it's pretty common. But you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Tomitake-san to react like that. Then, you're saying the police concluded Tomitake-san just died from the curse? I couldn't help but feel that the police are worthless. I just wanted the idea of the curse to be dissociated from Tomitake-san's mysterious death. Unfortunately, that's how it looks right now. But putting aside the cause of death, without a doubt, he was surrounded by a group of people and he'd been taken a beating before he died. That was no curse, but an incident that unquestionably involves other humans. That made me a bit relieved. We passed in front of the rather desolate, but still busier than Hinamizawa train station. The car pulled into a restaurant parking lot and I followed Oishi-san into the shop. It was pretty crowded, but there was only adults at this hour. Of course, there weren't children in here in the middle of the weekday. 2, please, non-smoking. This way, please. When you are ready to order, please call me over. We're led by a peculiarly dressed waitress to our table. I sat with Oishi-san in the booth. So, what do you think? Aren't the waitress outfits here cute? Huh? Well, I guess. The shop is always quite busy. It's more about the waitresses than the food, you see. Uh-huh. Oishi-san, you're leering. Huh? Am I really? Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topic, Oishi-san, after a meal cup of coffee, arrived at the table. Yesterday, we talked about Hinamizawa's past, didn't we? Yeah. That it was the village of man-eating demons or something like that. I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my grandmother about it this morning. Oishi-san took out a notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket. Turns out that Hinamizawa used to be called Onigafuchi, or Ogre's Abyss. Onigafuchi? It's quite the name. The name is still around. The marsh where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is still called Ogre's Abyss. It's said that the depths of that marsh connect to the realm of demons. Of course, nobody had told me anything about such an ominous marsh. And you see, it appears they were both feared and revered. A respect born of fear. I guess you could say it was kind of deification? Huh? A village of inhuman creatures. Seems the demons were a senin or mountain-dwelling mystic of sorts. Taking villagers with incurable illness into the Ogre's Abyss and healing them, for example. Even if we were calling them demons, Tengu long-nosed goblins or senin would be a more apt description. They didn't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons. But they were still man-eating demons. According to the story my grandma told me, as payment for treating the son's illness, let us eat the mother who brought him here, was apparently how things went. The price of curing her son was herself? That's unsettling. Of course the mother took her son and ran. Then you see, all the people who lived in Onigafuchi, the demons chased them down, rounded them up, and captured them. The entire village, apparently. It's quite a frightening thing to imagine. the end, it seems both the mother and son were caught and eaten. The end. There's a problem with this story. Both witnesses in this story were eaten, so nobody would be able to tell the tale. Huh? There are plenty of old fables like that. In contrast to the ghastly tale, Oishi-san laughed heartily while sipping his coffee. But, well, there are quite a few other tales, where the demons from Onigafuchi band together to capture their prey. I recall that Mion said all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities with how that part of the unification overlapped. Normally, they hunted down a single person, and they chose who it was going to be beforehand. Huh? That caught my attention. Oishi-san also appeared to be pondering what it meant. My grandmother told me that you must never interfere with the demon's hunt. You should just hole up in your house and hide under the covers, she said. So what does this all mean? It means you mustn't ever help or protect the prey. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. It seems there's that kind of rule. Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities, in other words. What happens if you break the rule? Well, they're man-eating demons after all. Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story he told me overlapped with his theory that the perpetrators were all the villagers' families. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die when there's a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it. Then Oishi-san. I guess it looks like it's either the village families, or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes. What do you think, Maebara-san? Excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please. That's what I want to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say the last part. I waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking. Last year, I had a nagging feeling when Satoshi-kun disappeared. Oishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee. As those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning your group of friends, Maebara-san, I had a bit, really just a little bit, okay? Of background checking done on them. If Oishi-san had said this to me before, I would have been furious, since he told me earlier not to suspect my friends. But as I was now, I couldn't. This might sound pretty stupid, Maebara-san. If you feel that it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop. Oishi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I'd seen from him ever. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Oishi-san, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi. This is probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth. Please. All that I could utter. Oishi-san stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began. The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonozaki-san. Multiple altercations. Oishi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up. In the second year, the married couple who supported the project died in that incident, right? They had a daughter. Her name was Satoko Hojo-san. Huh? Satoko meaning Satoko? Oishi-san's look told me that his voice was too loud. I realized it was, and quickly quieted down. The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the third year. You see, their daughter is Rika Furude-san. Rika-chan was... The housewife who died in the fourth year? You know already, don't you? It was the step-aunt of Satoko Hojo-san. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody, and she had lost both of her parents in the incident. She lived in the victim's house. I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distance myself from. But clicking and clacking, it had stuck all the way to my feet. The one who disappeared the 4th year, by the way, he was Satoko-san's older brother. But wait just a second. I took everything I had finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. But Oishi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last of the things I shouldn't have heard. All of the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends. That has to be a coincidence! Maebara-san, keep it down. Everyone's looking. Mihun? Satoko? Rika-chan? So what if they're connected? You're telling me all of my friends? It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Rena's different, isn't she? Rena isn't connected with the victims at all. Rena Ryugu-san was living in a suburb of Ibaraki Prefecture up until last year. Well, if it's true she hasn't directly met any of the victims. He said in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected? Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. It seems she went through school building and broke all the windows. I'm gonna try that sentence again. It seems she went through her school building and broke all the windows. Rena did that? She broke all the windows at her school? That same silly Rena had? I couldn't even imagine it. It seems that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia. Dysautonomia? Dysautonomia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication. Wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I heard that it happened to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. Neither of those match Rena's easygoing personality. And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rena-san. It showed up. And quite a bit at that. What did? I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret. She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. It felt like someone's stone-cold hand was caressing my back. Why? Why had Rena spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa? Seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow, looking down at her. My mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told. A while after that, she moved to Hinamizawa. Ah, that's right. She's not an outsider. Huh? According to their residency register, the Ryugu family used to reside in Hinamizawa. Rena-san moved to Ibaraki right after she finished elementary school. My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you see in a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension. Maebara-san, are you alright? Shall we stop? Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here. Now I understand Rena. Then, how about the last victim, Tomitake-san? Who was he connected with? Irritated, I let out one final reprisal. All of them. Have you forgotten, Maebara-san? Didn't you all spend the night at the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves. Now there was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush. We should get going. Maebara-san, did you take your afternoon medicine? I'd completely forgotten about the medicine I'd gotten today until Oishi-san said that. A got another glass of water, and he left the shop after I chugged it down. We got in the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. Whew. That big jolt was from the difference in elevation of the road when it changed the cement to dirt. I was certain that I heard Tomitake-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car. I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, right? My apologies for the long conversation. Why did you talk to me? I blurted out the question. Really just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer. I did check with you first, didn't I? If we just stop. Not that. Why did you reach out to me? I understood quite well that Oishi-san was investigating this string of suspicious incidents. But why was he telling me all this? I knew nothing I couldn't help. I knew nothing and I couldn't help. Everything Oishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, know? By chance, if there was a reason for Oishi-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I looked suspicious to Oishi-san, as I was part of Mion's circle of friends. I'm retiring this year. I plan on moving away after retiring as my grandma wants. So while I'm still on this case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light. So, Oishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them. Oishi-san didn't really give a response. It felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings. This is mostly my intuition from 30 years on this job. Maebara-san, you're the one in danger. Huh? I wanted to reply with, that was absurd. But in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it. I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at the Watanagashi next year. So I want to settle things. In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the victim. I've been warned by Chief as well. Each incident in the string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again. Or so I was told. This is the pressure that I'm facing. Pressure? From what? Someone in Hinamizawa. You've arrived. Is this fine? After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears. I won't mind if you just forget everything I told you today. But I'm still going to keep investigating. I'll end Oishiro-sama's curse this year. So you're saying I should contact you if anything happens? It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, Maebara-san. I wasn't collected enough to understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying it. Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick. I didn't really give a sort of response. I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. I'll be off now. The tires crunched over the dirt road as the car made a U-turn and disappeared into a cloud of kicked-up dust. It felt like I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Oishi-san was being unfair. Telling me I was going to be the next victim. Then just saying to contact him if something happens. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing. And I was just a bait dangling off the line. Would the fish be the perpetrator? Or was it really just Oishiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait wouldn't be swallowed whole. Damn it. I don't want to die. For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the AC from the car. Is that it? I wonder how much time has passed since I laid it down. It was getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. It'd probably be a good idea to change my sheets. At that moment, the phone downstairs rang. It was probably Mom. Mom was quite the worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I just didn't notice it. Hello, this is the Mayabara residence. Oh, he's alive! Hello! This is Mion. How are you doing? Is this one of Keiichi's friends? Keiichi's resting now, but... Shall I put him on? Huh? Is this his dad? Sorry. You fell for it. Huh? Kei-chan! After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Except I was suspicious of her even as we were laughing. Was everybody really involved in the incidents? The fact that I couldn't say no saddened me. I'm relieved that you seem well. Ren was really worried, you know. Sadako-chan was happy and said you got what you deserved. Rika-chan said, how unfortunate he's sick. Looks like everyone was making a big deal out of it. Well, you know. So, Kei-chan. It's no bad time to come pay you a visit. A visit? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying. My grandma made a ton of mochi, you see. I was told to share them. So I'll bring you some. Hey, now, you'll catch my cold. Not to worry, both Ren and I are too stupid to catch a cold. See you. Be there in a bit. She hung up cheerfully. Rena's coming too? That's what it sounded like. I was still concerned about meeting Rena, but I guess if she was with Mion... I heard the doorbell 10 minutes later. How are you feeling? Did you take your medicine and rest? I did just that. Thank goodness you look well. I was worried. Sorry, I'll be fine by tomorrow. Mion showed a complete lack of concern for someone who is recovering, and Rena looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart. It didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions. Thought we might hang out for a bit, but it looks like you're not quite in the condition for it. You don't say. Seeing that my face appeared a bit sullen. Then here, Keiichi-kun. These are the mochi Mi-chan's grandma made. Rena had all the package wrapped in newspaper. There might be about 5 in here. It was quite hefty. Ah, thanks. Send my regards to your grandma, Mion. Yep. Ah, there's one thing I made in there as well. Wonder if Keiichi-kun can guess which one. This is Kei-chan's homework since he missed the club meeting today. There are letters on each mochi, so I'll ask you tomorrow. You were checking if I was feeling better, or did you just come here for club activities? Yep, looking fine. Guess I'll be able to make it tomorrow. Man, what are you going to do if my fever comes back because of the shenanigans? Mi-chan, we shouldn't be making such a racket. Let's go. The other people here will get angry. Both of them thought my parents were home. It was because the entranceway was a mess. You're right, let's get going. By the way, Kei-chan. Yeah? What did you eat for lunch? A sudden question startled me, and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion. I'd never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But why is she asking me about what I ate for lunch? What she said was so inane, it almost meaningless. The way she said it, it was almost like she didn't even care about what I ate. I ate out. She must have suspected that I was with Oishi-san. Anyway, I felt that if I hesitate or try to change the subject, then they'd read too deep into it, so I tried answering as quickly as possible. Except, contrary to the efforts I'd made, there was a pause before they replied. So you ate out for lunch, Keiichi-kun. The glimmer from Rena's eyes had changed at some point as well. It was now sharp, as if to make me feel the feigning ignorance behind her words even more. As if she already knew. That's how it looked to me. Well, was it good? Why are you asking me this? Mune was speaking in an unusually low tone, almost as if she knew that I'd eaten at the restaurant in town. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been in school at lunchtime. There was no way they could have been where I was. Seems you were with a rather austere-looking older guy. Who was he? The package with the mochi I was holding slipped out of my hands. I could tell the blood had drained from my face, making me go pale. Oh? Keiichi-kun, who was he? Could it be the person from before, I wonder? I could feel the back of my throat going dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything. How do you know that? It took everything I had to finally force these words from my throat. My knees were shaking. Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know. Mune sneered knowingly, and her laugh seemed to carry on forever. So, Kei-chan, what did you talk about? Seems like you got pretty worked up over it, too. We weren't talking about you guys. I didn't have anything to do with you or Rena. Isn't it a bit strange to hear our names come up even though nobody asked about that? Rena's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peered further inside of me. I dug my own grave. My heart was throbbing so much it felt like I was going to explode. Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man already sees through it all. Remember that. I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had to stop my teeth from chattering. She never let her gaze break from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly. Keiichi-kun, you don't look so good. I think you should lie down. That's true. We should both head back home. As if nothing had happened, they'd both giggled at each other and started making their way out. I hadn't moved a muscle since I dropped the package of mochi. As they left, the door slowly closed behind them. All I could do was stare, as if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was just about closed, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak, sending my heart racing once again. A single eye peered through it, that narrow slit, and Mune, hawkish gaze peered at me once again. See you, Kei-chan. Yeah. I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow, alright? The door closed. I wasn't able to move a muscle, even after their low laughter died off in the distance and silence once again enveloped the room. Coming back to my senses, the first thing I did was lock the door. They knew that Oishi-san. They knew what Oishi-san and I talked about. Why? How? No, that wasn't important. Thinking about it now, all of it could have been overheard. From the beginning, when Oishi-san met me. Just as Mion said, I couldn't hide anything. Then, what were they trying to tell me? That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did they deem unnecessary? I only talked with Oishi-san about one thing. And they were warning me that that was unnecessary. What was it that Oishi-san talked to me about? The incidents involving Oyashiro-sama's curse that occurred every year weren't individual cases, but were connected as a whole, as well as the fact that there may be multiple perpetrators hidden within Hinamizawa. No, more precisely, that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. Is that what they were warning me against? What kind of nonsense am I thinking about? I hit my own face hard enough that it let out a loud slap. If only that would wake me from this nightmare. But for some reason, it felt like I was punching a blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down, calm down! Settle down and sort things out. The reason Mio knew I was eating lunch with Oishi-san was probably because somebody from Hinamizawa just happened to be there at that time. They must have told Mion that I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked me, was it good? They were just curious since I was together with someone not from Hinamizawa. It's not as if they had an ulterior motive. That's it. It has to be it. Thinking about it that way, it was the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous about when I met with Oishi-san, and Rena was correcting me on that. That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the usual mild-mannered Rena, and was just startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. It felt like my mind was mixed up, like a tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce would have poured out my nose and ears if you squeezed my head. Thinking that, I suddenly felt like vomiting. I really didn't want that to happen, so I stopped holding my head. Lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. Spending time with them was fun. It didn't feel like there was any sort of hidden agenda. I really do think that they were a good bunch of people. When I just moved here and couldn't make heads or tails of anything, they were really kind to me. Rena was really kind and always looked after me. As long as that strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head, she was really pretty cute. Mion's also a really good person. She didn't care about anyone's age or gender and was optimistic and outgoing. I was never bored when I was with her. And talking of not getting bored, rambunctious Satoko was a good person for that too. She was pretty bratty, but that was just the way she interacted with others. Rika-chan was the same way. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. But after hearing of the better untold secrets of Hinamizawa from Oishi-san and Tomitake-san, and I was told about Oyashiro-sama's curse, things started going crazy. Then hearing from Oishi-san that Mio and Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. After that, everyone changed. That's right. It all started getting weird after Oishi-san told me all the strange stuff. At that time, I really should have just not listened to those weird stories. And I even shouldn't have heard about the past incidents from Tomitake-san the night of the Watanagashi. If I just hadn't gotten that strange sense of curiosity, if I just hadn't... That's right. So that's why they... Tomitake-san. Is it killed? There's so many four-letter words that could be. Is it killed? The impudent outsider speaking to the likes of me after everybody went out of their way to keep it a secret from me. They probably... Oishi-san as well. I didn't mean to do that. How do I... How do I make it stop? Trying to unearth what everyone was warning me was better left buried. Besides that, he was unforgivable for spewing words that made me doubt the others. Of course a guy like that's going to be... Wait, should I can do that. Both Tomitake-san and Oishi-san were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities who couldn't coexist with people of Hinamizawa. Those guys just fall to Oyashiro-sama's curse and just... The button's so far away, though. It wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not being able to hold back my curiosity. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't... I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling like I had gotten up. But the ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I don't know if I'd be able to add the censor bleep to it. The button's really far away. Like, it's exactly one arm's length away, and it's like right at the tip of my fingers. But the ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I was fine now. I was no longer frightened. I completely recovered. I'll go to school tomorrow, right as rain. I'll greet everyone. I'll take part in club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It had to be fun. I was one of them after all. That reminds me. I need to eat those mochi. I hope I'm able to tell which one Rena made. I remembered the homework the two brought with them when they visited me. But wow, our club did delivery. That was something else. I picked up the package I dropped on the floor and headed to the living room. Right as who? It would be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. To fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh. It's quite a delectable situation I was in. Opening up the newspaper, wrapping, there were 5 plump, red bean paste mochi fit snugly inside. There were letters written on them, from left to right on the newspaper. A, B, C, D, and E. I still need to drink some tea. I know. I already talked so much today and now I'm reading. It's cold enough to drink now. Now then. They said Rena made one of these. I wonder which one. There wasn't much difference in how they looked. They smelled and appeared about the same. This was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was probably their shape. I wasn't sure what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Rena had to be different from hers. Looking carefully, I could see one mochi that was made very neatly. So all that, just by staring at it, one could tell it stood out. Looks like the challenge depends on whether or not this one is Rena's. Calm down and think even harder. Mion had said her grandma made a ton of them and was told to give out some, if I remember correctly. So that means 4 of these were from that large batch. Then what about Rena? She probably only made 1. So she probably spent quite a bit of time on it. Meaning the one Rena had made was this one. E! From a moment, I thought it may have been a trap Mion laid as she knew I'd pick up on it. That probably wasn't the case. I wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it. But since she said Rena made it, it probably wasn't a trap. Alright. My tea's ready too. I'll start with a defending champ, Mion's grandma. Let's see. Not bad. Smooth bean paste and soft, chewy texture left little to be desired. The tea I drank afterwards also accentuated the experience. This was an exquisite piece of work. Now, how about Rena's? The creation was so delicate, one would think it was a high-class Japanese dessert. Since I normally had quite the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion. Well, first, a bite. It's quite a difficult one to judge, actually. The ingredients were exactly the same, so there's little difference in flavor. What was different was how it was shaped at the end. So it was to be expected. So the deciding factor would be presentation and volume. The well-formed and well-sized champion versus Rena the challenger, with a size you just couldn't get enough of. I only had 1 bite of Rena's. I'd probably have to wait until after I was done eating to make a decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside that could cause an upset. Seems my prediction was right. My tongue touched something. It didn't feel like something edible, so I reached in with my fingers and grabbed it. What? What was this? Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw away the rest of the mochi I was eating as fast as I could. It slammed against the wall, causing the bean jam to splatter. Then, after sticking for a moment, it slid down to the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own actions. What was I doing? Ren had gone out of her way to make it for me. How could I? Dumbstruck, I looked down at the hand that performed such a vile act. Then I remembered what I had taken out of my mouth. At first, I thought it was a hair. Even though it was shorter than Mion's, Rena's hair was still quite long. And it wasn't this short. It was also a bit too hard to be hair. It was thick enough to roll around on my tongue. There was a bit of metallic sheen on one end. Ah, yes. There's a hole for where the thread goes through. It was like a sewing needle. Yeah, that's right. It looked very much like a sewing needle. Exactly like one. The end was pointed as well. Quite sharply. It really did look like a sewing needle. Huh? What did I mean by looked very much like a sewing needle just a bit ago? I couldn't answer. But a voice inside me already knew, and let me know by chattering my molars together. I couldn't starve off the terror welling up inside of me. Suddenly, I tasted something metallic and felt a prickling pain at the back of my throat. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth and felt around to see if I was bleeding. Suddenly, I felt the urge to vomit. The sharp taste of bile irritated the back of my throat. I clasped both hands over my mouth and, after writhing in agony, I was somehow able to hold back the nausea. I was finally able to breathe normally again, but this time my heart was intensely throbbing. Then, it finally registered. Exactly what was mixed in with the mochi. Before I could think of the correct word, my hands were already on the move. I tossed the rest of the mochi against the wall. The geometrical patterns of the scattered bean jam on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind. After looking away, I dashed out of the hall and flew upstairs to my room, where I stayed under my covers until morning. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration. This wasn't a threat or a warning or a reminder. Nothing as simple as that. What had happened to Hinamizawa? What is happening in Hinamizawa? What would happen? I didn't know the answer to any of those questions. Where did I break a taboo? Regardless, now Rena and Mion, and others, they considered me an enemy. And they thought I should just die. I won't let you kill me! Not for such a pointless reason! I fell into a restless sleep as I crushed by my negative emotions. It was as if I was being drawn into a billowing bottomless marsh. Blood mochi. Maybe if you were a vampire, that would be good. It's over! You received new tips. What's a medicine that makes you commit suicide? Oh, wouldn't I like to know? Okay, let's save. And I'll save in slot 3 too. That's what I'll do. Okay. Let's take a sip and let's hang out and chat before we get to the next chapter. Weren't there needles in the food? Yeah, there is a needle in the food. Yo, what's good? Hey, yo, Ryan, blood mochi. Keiichi making a mess and not even cleaning it? Bruh. What else is it supposed... What else is a kid supposed to do when their parents are at home? Of course they're not gonna clean up a mess. T-Brick, you okay, Essie? Yes. It's really scary now. It's super scary. Stomach ulcers, Inc. Okay. I need to take my sips. I didn't get to drink my tea before we started because it was too hot, but now I get to drink it. Let's go. Let's go. I don't know, this does not sound like a cause for celebration. This sounds evil and terrible. Took your advice and beheaded my cousins? Really? Well, do you have a plan for disposing of the bodies yet? Things are getting heated. I know! It's getting good. Hi Ryan, thanks for being here tonight. How have you been? They had ch1 under wraps. Yeah. Alright, another sip of my water. Hope you're doing good, Essie? Yeah, I'm doing pretty alright. How are you, Ryan? Acid, a lot of acid? Gotta dissolve them somehow. Gotta dissolve them somehow. Do what you gotta do. Rest in peace to Mikey's cousins. Let me stretch my back out a little bit. Oh man. It was really fun to hang out with all of our friends at school and just play games for the first like 2,000 chapters. And I really wanted it to be scary during those peaceful and fun chapters. But at the same time, now I miss when it was fun. I like in games when it makes me feel like I have friends. That's what I like. But now all my friends hate me, so now I'm nervous, now I'm scared. I miss when my friends liked me. Ooh, and the poll! You guys are starting to believe in me. About 50% of people now are no. And that's down from like 60-something%. A hit's too close to home? Yeah, it hits too close to home now. They want you dead? Oh yeah, not only do they not like me, they just like super hate me now. Alright, let's read our tips and get back to our story. Wait, this is all tips. I only want the new tips. I should take another big gulp of tea. Oh, there's 2 now. Okay. Don't we still need to show up for class? I know! I'm nervous for having to do that. Like, obviously, they're not gonna just, like, kill me in broad daylight, right? In front of, like, literally everybody. But maybe it would be everybody because I'm just the outsider guy. Maybe literally everyone hates me. Literally everyone wants me dead. So, like, what is the police gonna do about it if they're on their side, you know? Let's cut to the chase. Is there a drug that causes someone to kill themselves? Not directly, no. It's quite a roundabout response. You're saying there's one out that does it indirectly. Something that puts you into suicidal state. Like that. That's hard to say. What would a suicidal mental state be? Like a person with a serious bipolar disorder? It's believed that people are most likely to attempt suicide when swinging from depression to mania. Clinical depression and bipolar disorders are different. Clinical depression indicates a prolonged state of depression, whereas bipolar disorder is characterized by a passive depressive state accompanied by a very active manic state. Individuals with clinical depression suffer from low self-esteem and are quite pessimistic, but rarely commit suicide. They do not have the willpower to commit suicide, nor does mania on its own lead to suicide. That has an opposite effect, filling the person with the confidence and making them feel as though they're walking on air. Thus, they do not commit suicide. That's interesting. Neither state causes suicide, but when the condition changes, they might do so? There's a desire to commit suicide when in a state of depression, but they do not have the willpower to commit such a formidable act. But when they enter mania, they gain a burst of willpower and their body moves as they desire. I see! So it means they gain the willpower to commit suicide. That's how it goes. That's why patients are given sedatives during the time to keep them from acting on their impulses. Then with Tomitake... Was Tomitake bipolar? People who suffer from bipolar disorders generally commit suicide by more civilized means. Like, say, hanging or jumping off a building. Self-harm as though going through withdrawal is completely different. Tomitake's death wasn't civilized. So one would think it was caused by some foreign substance. As I said from the start, Tell me of a drug that causes someone to commit suicide. There are reports that methamphetamine overdoses produce a condition that resembles bipolar disorder. It's a stimulant. Barbiturate overdose are also reported to cause erratic behavior. That's a sleep aid. There were no signs of stimulants. Are there any other possibilities? All I can think of is that it's some sort of illness. Something like Graves' disease, which affects thyroid and is known to cause symptoms that resemble bipolar disorder. But Graves' disease has many characteristic symptoms of its own. The disease exhibited none of them. I wonder, is there something that could happen more spontaneously? Something that fits this case and would cause someone to want to commit suicide all of a sudden? Are you familiar with organic mental disorders? In short, it's a condition where the brain is out of whack due to physical injury or illness. It can be caused by drugs, but it can also be caused by physical trauma, encephalitis, a stroke, or even tumors. Basically, even without a drug, one can succumb to an irregular mental state. The deceased was surrounded after being chased and his life was in danger, right? All that stress could have messed with his brain chemistry. He could have hit his head, and those factors combined might have caused him to mutilate himself. It's a possibility. Could you explain it to me in simpler terms? Basically, he knocked his noggin in the brawl, and that made him go haywire. Then his lady didn't have intent to kill. Just smacked him in the bad place when he nicked some change. What? The two plump men laughed hoarsely. But of course, it's not like that. Undoubtedly, if it was habitual drug use, if it was something mental, the deceased body holds the key. How are things on your end? Oh my goodness, look at the time. I need to get back soon or Kuma-chan will get angry with me. Yeah. Good luck. Best wishes. Best wishes. I learned a lot about drugs. I don't know anything about drugs, but I learned a little bit more about them. We talking about bipolar? Guess so. Those guys just now. They had national diet badges. And it's prefectural assembly member and city councilor Sonozaki. That's interesting. The prefectural assembly member and city councilor are related. It's dirty is what it is. Shouting out each other's name during elections. Well, one is up for election, the other one holds an assembly, and they double up their campaign activities. Blatantly. I don't know much about this stuff, but isn't that against the rules of the election? As long as they have no prior consultation, there are no restrictions on the political activities. Kuma-chan, the investigation division is going to be pretty tough for you. You should at least brush up on election policies. I'm not suited for the intelligence division. 'Cause I'm dumb. There was prefectural assembly member Sonozaki and city councilor Sonozaki. Also, the mayor of Hinamizawa. All of them involved with the Sonozaki family. What crap. Looks like they were seen off by the department chief and the deputy chief. It came to me. That night, when the chief invited me along to get some Odin, I thought that was it. You have a lot of connections, so you might have heard something, did you? Nope, not a thing. Ma'am, I'll take a tofu fritter and fish cake. A counselor barked at me in the public chief's stead. Oh my, is that so? Ma'am, I'll take another bowl. Prefectural Assembly member Sonozaki and City Councilor Sonozaki are both intimidating. Our snot-nosed career police chief couldn't even handle being yelled at by them. They're like Yakuza. A petition with your name came up regarding how the investigation of the Hinamizawa incident is being handled. Goodness me? I'm not the faintest. No need to play dumb. You're reopening the past cases regarding Hinamizawa, aren't you? I've already got my hands full with Tomitake's death, actually. Really? If that's true, then there's no problem. There was a period of silence. While we were silent, we made headway on our food and drink. That was quite the feast. This month has been a bunch of losses for me, so my wallet's been feeling the pinch. Much appreciated. No, it's nothing. Tell me a good horse again. I'll bet on the same one as you. I haven't been doing well there lately. I haven't been able to read the horses at all. I'm going by train. The police chief is taking a taxi. I have my own car, but it's rash to drive it home. Can't blow it right before retirement with the DUI. Even though we could still rattle off, it looks like his legs are already goo. Pushing him to the cab, I gave the driver the police chief's address. Well, see you tomorrow. Happy New Year! Oishi-san. Yeah. The past incidents have been closed. Stop lumping them all together. Those villagers half believe it's really a curse. Well, I'm not convinced. You're going to be retiring next year, aren't you? Weren't you going to pay off your mortgage with your pension and move up to Hokkaido with your mom? Mother pines to return to the land of her birth. It's the least I can do. And the pension, well, it'll let me enjoy myself in Susikino. The police chief may issue a special retirement salary raise, he says. A public servant's pension is calculated based on their monthly salary. So if you were to get a raise right before retirement, your bonus, 2-year salary, would be inflated. And you'd get a heavy surplus of funds. That tends to be how it's done around here. Of course, it's not a custom that's thought of highly. The difference between the bonus and the pension is quite a bit. I'd expect nothing less exemplary from our egghead chief. But, well, I say our salary is compensation for our hard work, but in the end, really just has to do with the passage of time. That's not something I can laugh at, but I'll laugh through it anyways. I don't think it's anything exemplary. Why do I have so much struggle reading that word? Oh my gosh. But given how hard you've worked, it's not odd that you're getting that much of a pension. I'd like to get that much myself. If I can get it, well, of course I'd want it. You'll get it. You're an adult after all. Sorry for holding you here, driver. Thank you very much. I closed the door roughly, interrupting the chief's conversation a bit rudely. It looked like the chief still had something to say, but he just smiled wryly and waved. I waved in return. The cab sped up gradually and soon disappeared among the sea of lights. Oh man, I wonder if I really can repay that loan. Do you plan to play other chapters, Essie? Yeah, I want to read them. I want to know the rest of the stuff. Happy New Year. Yep, Happy New Year. Also, I like how YouTube knows exactly how to translate your funny language. Big sip of water. Big sip of tea. We have less than 30 minutes to finish the rest of the entire first chapter. I think I can do it still. Sip emoji. The sound of muffled footsteps stopped in front of the door by my room. A moment of silence, as if whomever they belonged to was ascertaining if I was inside. Of all the things I should have been doing, I continued on with my restless slumber. I was very much conscious, but my body hadn't caught up yet. Even with danger bearing down on me from just beyond the door, it was as if I was completely paralyzed, unable to move. Without a doubt, this was sheer terror. Please, just leave. Hey, why isn't my body awake yet? If they came into my room right now, then... Why is the pause so long? You're freaking me out. Oh, I have to click. Oh, I'm just stupid. Ah! Eek. I sprung to my feet and threw my covers at my mom, who was opening the door. Whoa! Keiichi? What's the matter? Sorry. I was still half asleep. I thought it was still 1 or 2 a.m. But the morning sun was already streaming through the gap between the curtains. It felt nothing like morning. Yesterday, I must have fallen asleep right after that. Then I should have gotten a full 10 hours of rest. But it didn't feel like that at all. My internal clock was completely screwed up and my sense of balance felt off. I felt feverish enough that it was clear to me that I was still not well. Well, Keiichi? How are you feeling? Can you make it to school? I was well enough to go, but I wasn't mentally prepared for it. I was still plagued with the terror from yesterday. If I had swallowed that needle, what would have happened? Or what if it pierced my tongue? There was undoubtedly a murderous intent, but I don't think that's all it was. If they really wanted to kill me, then there were other, more certain ways to do it. They wouldn't resort to such a dubious method of having me swallow a needle. Meaning, I didn't want to believe it, but going this far was just a threat from Ren and Mion. Aren't you glad you didn't die? The next time I'll use a more assured method. Like that. Something like sending a letter with a razor inside would have been a joke compared to this. Did you make it to the hospital? Did you take your medicine? Yeah, kind of. I have to sneeze so bad. Oh my gosh, give me a second. Okay, I didn't sneeze. I just rubbed my nose a lot. And I hope that fixes it. Something about my mom's dubious gaze bothered me. She seemed more concerned about her son missing 2 days of school rather than him being sick. It was definitely mental fatigue. I wasn't really physically ill. It'll be hard for you to get back on track once your daily routine is thrown off. Come on, get on up. They say wellness is a state of mind. I'd heard that line many times before. I was given an award in elementary school for having perfect attendance, but it wasn't like I was healthier than everyone. Come on, go wash your face. Breakfast is already ready. There isn't much time before Rena-chan comes to get you. Mom's tone meant I couldn't argue about it, so I had to give up on skipping a second day. By the way, were you the one who got bean paste all over the living room wall, Keiichi? You shouldn't do something like that. Your father was quite angry. I didn't feel particularly guilty for doing it, so I didn't have much of a reaction. Also, Mom didn't question me any further about it. She headed back downstairs after she was certain I was getting up. What Mion said as she left yesterday. I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow. Came back and dwelled in the back of my head. What did she mean by that? I didn't even have to really think about it. She was saying, don't be absent. Taking that a bit further, it was the same as her saying I shouldn't go about living my life as if nothing happened. If I showed any signs of acting unusual, it would probably result in them making their move. For example, maybe I shouldn't pay attention to someone like Oishi enticing me with something unusual. Meaning, if I didn't wash my mouth, or did anything differently from the norm, in effect, it would end up flagging myself as someone who was not wanted. And it seemed that was something the girls didn't intend to forgive. So, if I just went along as normal, no harm would come to me. Was that how it was going to be? All the misery I experienced up until yesterday would almost creepily just fade away. It was an enticing deal. Just by forgetting everything I'd seen or heard the last few days, I'd be able to keep living like normal. There's no such way such a selfish thing could. I swallowed hard. I once again deliberated on the idea that I had just rejected. Mion was probably a good person who had her friends at heart. She was giving me, who had mistakenly broken some rules of theirs, a chance. Was what I did really something so unforgivable? But Mion had given me another chance. She was saying, if I just forgot everything and kept living on like I had been, I'd be forgiven. Keiichi! Your food's going to get cold. Hurry up and get down here. Rena will be here if you don't hurry. I'm coming! I crammed my textbook into my bag and hastily made my way downstairs. I picked at my somewhat bland breakfast. It seemed that I didn't have much time. It was already past when I usually met up with Rena. Given yesterday's events, she'd probably be here in the next 5 minutes. I needed to be ready to head to school by then. I had to forget everything that happened in the past 2 days. Forget it all and return to a normal life. For this to be normal, I'll have to be where I normally meet up with Rena. Today of all days, the rice was dry and hard to get down. I jumped at the sound and dropped my chopsticks. A chime signaled that Rena had arrived. Mom hurried me along. Come on, Rena-chan's already here. Hurry, hurry! My mother's merry smile and my gloomy face were polar opposites. Honestly, I was reluctant to see Rena, who was waiting there on the other side of the door. The Rena on the other side. Was it the Rena I knew? I couldn't keep her waiting. I needed to do things as usual. Morning! An invigorating greeting filtered in from across the doorway. I came since Keiichi-kun was a bit late. Will he be okay today, I wonder? The manner in which Rena was concerned was without a doubt the Rena I knew. But that was probably only if I reciprocated. Forget everything from yesterday, pretend as though nothing had happened. Forget about the gruesome dismemberment. Forget about the mysterious deaths that happened the following years. Forget about the people falling to their death, the terminal illness and suicide, and the lynching and the disappearances. Forget it. Forget it all. Forget that Rena and Mion were scary. Of course. Forget it all. Forget about everyone. Forget about the mochi too. Forget. Rena once again asked to make sure. Can you make it to school? Yeah, I'm fine. Great! Then let's go. Mi-chan is waiting. Rena showed me her usual bright smile. I couldn't find any hint of deceit in her expression. My nervousness dissipated, giving way to relief. But you see, Satoko-chan was so insistent she could do it. As we were talking, Rena talked about a lot of different stuff. More so than usual. Then... Satoko-chan is clumsy, so she failed no matter how many times she tried. She was so cute. Everything Rena talked about was just silly nonsense, so I just replied every so often and laughed from time to time. It was a rather laid-back conversation. We passed by one of our neighbors, and they called out to us. Oh my, Keiichi! Keiichi-chan and Rena-chan, aren't you two a bit late today? Mion-chan said that she was going on ahead. Oh gosh. Uh-oh. Did Mi-chan look mad, I wonder? We need to hurry up, Keiichi-kun. As we smiled and parted ways with our neighbor, they turned back and towards me and stuck out a tongue. Not expecting that, I couldn't help but crack a smile. Keiichi-kun smiled. What? Rena stopped and stared at me. I was thinking that you still hadn't recovered from this cold since you seemed down this morning, Keiichi-kun. But now you seem fine. Fine. With a grin, she gently poked my cheek. It was a bright, sincere smile. Hey, Keiichi Maebara. How can you still doubt Rena after she shows you a smile like that? Maybe I just had a high fever up until today, and I imagined everything that I thought happened because I was bedridden and delirious. I really hoped that that was the case. If God would grant me just one wish, there's only one thing that I'd wish for. I'd want what happened in the past few days, more specifically, from the night of the Tanagashi up until last night. I wanted all of that to have never happened. I wonder how many times I'd wish for these past few days. As long as Rena kept on smiling like this, I think it might just become reality. So I wanted Rena to keep on smiling. Keep on smiling. So, Keiichi-kun. Those mochi yesterday. Did you eat them all? The vain wish of mine was instantly shattered. My heart began palpitating. The relaxed morning mood suddenly became frigid. Rena's smile was the same as usual. Her eyes were gentle as usual. Those mochi yesterday. Did you eat them all? Of course she wasn't asking the question at face value. In other words, Rena was asking, did you get the message? She was probably trying to convey that. Keiichi-kun. I was reluctant to give an answer. Rena stopped walking and stared deeply into my eyes. Don't hesitate, Keiichi Maebara. Rena was acting the same as always, wasn't she? I needed to respond in my usual way. Naturally, of course. But both my throat and my mouth had gone dry, and my lips were stuck together. Hurry and answer, Keiichi. Not that much time had passed. I could still keep the conversation going naturally. I had to say something quickly. Rena playfully mimicked what I said when I finally squeaked something out. Rena's reaction was still normal. It seemed that there wasn't as long of a pause as I thought. Somehow I finally squeaked out the rest. Delicious! However, my strained efforts neither sullied nor brightened Rena's expression. For a moment I panicked, thinking I had replied incorrectly. But after a few moments, Rena broke into her usual soft smile and giggled with a joyful voice that seemed to echo throughout the morning air. Being strung along by that laugh, I couldn't help but laugh as well. I see. So did you eat all of them? I wonder? My timid smile froze again. Did you make it without swallowing the sewing needle? Was that what she was asking? If I had swallowed it, then I wouldn't be here. No, I couldn't finish them all. There's still some left. I was scared out of my wits, but that's how I played it. Huh? What about the homework to see if you could tell which one Rena made? The homework? Was it due today? Yeah, it's due today. Mi-chan will get angry. There's probably a penalty game ready for you. We both laughed at each other again. To a casual observer, it was just a typical morning. If I could let myself believe, then even I'd think it was just the usual morning routine. But I was certain I wasn't mistaken. There was something unimaginable buried beneath the facade of this giggling Rena. Lies. I recalled that unexpected piercing voice that I could hardly believe came from Rena's mouth. The moment the image crossed my mind, I felt a cold sweat trickle down my back. Was it only the particular time that something evil had possessed Rena? No, that was wrong. That was still Rena. Oishi-san told me, didn't he? Actually, I looked into her before Ryuga-san moved away from Hinamizawa. She was suspended from school. It seems she went through her school building and broke all the windows. Rena had a disorder that normal people didn't. No matter how pleasantly she smiled, the fact would not change. But I couldn't even imagine how she looked as she broke all the glass throughout the school. One thing I knew was that it wasn't something spur of the moment. If it was some sudden outburst of anger, then maybe she'd break a pane or two. But she broke all of the windows all throughout her school. Just imagine going through your own school, breaking the windows with a bat. Swinging full force at each pane of glass, one after another, paying no heed to the flying shards. Your classmates aghast. Unable to move from the sudden turn of events. I wonder where she could have found the most windows lined up in a row. Probably the hallway. Walk, wind up. Walk, wind up. It was difficult for me to connect that horrifying image with the Rena smiling at me right now. But I just had to imagine it. Impossible because it was unimaginable. That naive way of thinking no longer worked. The unpleasant, piercing sound of shattering glass, the crunching noise as Rena treads across the broken shards, walking towards me. Rena's classmates going pale as they forget to even breathe. I wonder what they did as Rena came closer, breaking windows along her path. Did they earnestly try to bring her to her senses by saying something? Or did they jump at her, trying to stop her savagery? Or did they run to the staff room or being directed there by the teacher? Probably none of those. In the face of the blood-curdling sight of Rena busting window after window, undoubtedly all they could do was silently clear a path for her. Dumbfounded, just clearing the path for Rena to continue. It was far too violent of an act for them to seek refuge by looking at the other way. That's not to say they were looking the other way. They were doing the only thing they could protect themselves. If they had done something differently from the rest, they might have suddenly found themselves as Rena's new target. What would Rena have done to whoever attracted her attention? The answer was obvious. She would have undoubtedly acted according to her whims. Meaning, I would, be the next window. Rena staring into my eyes, shards of glass crunching and crackling underfoot as she drew closer. I was also drawn into her eyes, paralyzed. Why is she not going away? She's just looking at me. Can you leave me alone? Can you go away? Then Rena struck me with the bat over and over again, like I was one of those windows. I crouched down on the floor, desperately protecting my head. Rena didn't care whether it was my head or my back. Zealously, she hit me again and again. What kind of expression was she making as she was doing this over and over again? I peered up to see. Her expression was so indifferent, it was completely unnerving. It's because no matter how many times she struck me, it didn't make as pleasant a sound as the other windows. Wait, are we imagining or not? Is this real? Or is he just thinking about it? Ow. She struck me continuously, over and over again. The sound Rena wanted didn't come out. Our classmates standing around didn't try to stop her. They didn't want me to be the next window. They didn't want to be the next window. Somebody save me. Turning a blind eye, unless we're hanging out. But of course, everyone in class scrambled to obtain the highest standardized test scores. They'd gain nothing from saving a cram school tryhard like me. Eventually, there'd be a faint sound, similar to when you crack open a walnut, and some sort of reddish-black spray would shoot out. Anyway, it wasn't that Rena momentarily lost herself in anger. After forcing myself to breathe and calming down my heart, I recalled what Oishi had told me. And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rena-san. It showed up. And quite a bit at that. What does? She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. Following that, Rena was suspended and had regular examinations at the hospital. Then, as Rena was undergoing counseling, she said it over and over. Oyashiro-sama. It seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow, looking down at her. That was only a piece of their conversation, so I still couldn't see the big picture. But it was by no means a happy little conversation. Then what Rena did. Was she saying that ghastly incident was a result of her being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? Up until now, I didn't want to believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's why I wanted to say the mysterious deaths every year happened because of some sort of conspiracy. Every time I talked with Oishi-san, I was more certain that the deaths were a work of men and not some curse. Except, if it was people perpetrating the incidents, my friends were somehow deeply connected. If I refused to believe that the curse was real, then I would have to believe that those who acted the kindest to me were deeply involved in the incidents. Why? How? For what reason? Was everybody? It was much more painful and troublesome than accepting that it was just Oyashiro-sama's curse. In the aftermath, Rena had admitted to her doctor that it was because she was possessed by Oyashiro-sama. I felt a strange sense of relief from that. That's how it was. There wasn't a second side to Rena. She did that because she was possessed by something strange, like Oyashiro-sama. It wasn't Rena's fault. Oyashiro-sama was the one to blame. I knew. This was all backwards. Refusing to believe that there was a curse, I wanted there to be a human perpetrator. Now that my close friends were the ones under suspicion, I changed my beliefs at my own convenience, saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse to blame. Which was the better choice, accepting Oyashiro-sama's curse exists, or that Rena had the rest of them were deeply involved in the string of mysterious deaths. I didn't want to think about it. If I just didn't think about it, I'd be able to continue the same as always. I wanted to believe that, but that was no longer possible. I'd received their message. It was pathetic of me to try and bend the meaning of my own convenience, regardless of my opponent being human or curse. I won't let it kill me. As if I would just bend over and give in, for no good reason at all. Keiichi-kun, you've been making a really weird face. Why, I wonder? Inhaling sharply upon hearing Rena's voice, I came back to my senses. Before I'd realized it, you were already at the entrance. Shaking my head a few times, I exorcised all those terrifying thoughts. No matter how you look at it, there's no way Rena could have done such a terrible thing. It was like I was trying to placate myself. Boing. As I slid the door open, a blackboard eraser loaded with chalk dropped down on my head the moment I stepped into the classroom. The chalk dust went into my eyes, inducing a brief moment of agony. How befitting for the truant Keiichi-san! Good morning to both of you, Keiichi and Rena. Good morning, Satoko-chan, Rika-chan! Not quite in the mood for it. I didn't really react to Satoko's trap. Satoko braced herself as I passed by, expecting me to attack her. She seemed a bit disappointed as I simply walked by silently. What is this? How discouraging indeed! Keiichi doesn't seem back to his usual self yet. Yeah. Take it easy on him for today, Kay? Suddenly, there was a slap down on my shoulder. It hurt a bit. Hey, Kei-chan! Did you get enough rest? It was Mion. My mind was full with the stuff about Rena, but Mion was also a party of interest. Remember, Keiichi? That hawkish gaze from yesterday. Yeah, morning. What's with the unenergetic greeting? Did you eat the mochi I brought you? Because I ate them, I'm like this. Those words were itching to be blurted out. I really just didn't have the appetite. I ate a few, but quite a lot are left over. Huh? What about the homework? Do you have an answer for which one is Rena's? I can't believe you forgot your homework, Keiichi-kun. Sheesh. Then we can't help it. Time for your penalty. Flashing a lurid smile, Mion returned to her seat. There was nothing from our exchanges that would cause our classmates to suspect anything was amiss. But of course, anyone listening to our conversations up until this morning wouldn't see anything suspicious. That was why it was so frightening. They acted in a way that, regardless of whatever happened to Keiichi Maebara, no one would ever suspect them. That fact had terrified me. Soon the teacher came. After she asked how I felt and took attendance, another dull, ordinary day began. This free study period was a convenient time to consider where I stood. I gently closed my eyes and pondered the ridiculous position I was in right now. First of all, what I shouldn't forget was how dangerous of a situation I was in. I'd fallen out of favor with them. After interacting with Uishi-san multiple times, I could see it as I was getting closer to the heart of the matter. The warning yesterday with the mochi was a good indicator of that. No, calling it a warning was just my habit of understanding things. It probably had no meaning beyond stunning my progress and buying themselves some time. Until they had a method of completely erasing me. They were just biding their time. Even though they were keeping me under their thumb with threats, it didn't change the fact that I knew too much. The chilling sensation of my desk made me recall Satoshi Hojo, the boy who was using the seat until last year when he disappeared. He was also similar to me? Did he learn something he shouldn't have? And was erased? Damn. I wouldn't let them get rid of me so easily. Never. But were they really trying to kill me? I'd had these contradictory feelings for a while now. Even though I suspected them, I felt I had a cover for them. With all their suspicious behavior, a morning like this, Oh gosh. Try reading, idiot. With all of their suspicious behavior, a morning like this just made it seem like an elaborate hoax. No. That's just what I want to believe. Doubting my friends? Covering for them? My life was in danger. Or was it? Actually, I was debating the wrong point. Given my current situation, those points were something that should have been deliberated on a long time ago. But really, Ren and the rest of them, were they actually aiming to kill me? The little voice inside of me continued to torment me with these unresolvable trains of thought. Are you an idiot, Keiichi Maebara? The answer should be obvious. But maybe that sewing needle might have just been an accident, right? How can you screw up and drop a sewing needle into a piece of mochi? The benefit of the doubt can go only so far. Both Rena and Mion had acted and behaved suspiciously, but maybe it was all some sort of misunderstanding. What kind of misunderstanding? It wasn't just suspicious. It was outright ludicrous, right? Rena had corrected me for lying, and Mion only asked me about what I had for lunch. Rena was standing outside the door, eavesdropping for a good hour, you know. She was probably just waiting for my phone call to end. For a whole hour outside of your room? And is it normal to go home afterwards without saying anything? You heard from Uishi-san, didn't you? About what Rena did at her former school? But at the hospital, she said it was Oyashiro-sama's fault. Cut it out, Keiichi Maebara. Don't you realize they're out to kill you? Ugh. I inadvertently blurted out those words out loud. Hearing myself say that so directly left me dumbfounded for a few moments. Afterwards, I had to look around to check if anyone else had heard it. My little soliloquy cut a little too close to the truth. Even though I could feel the murderous intent from Rena and the others, part of me somewhere was still trying to deny that. This late in the game, such hesitant could be fatal. I knew that. But I was just your average student, a man living his normal, ordinary life. Do you think I could suddenly believe that my friends, who I had been happily laughing together with up until last Sunday, now intend to kill me, right? You're too soft, Keiichi. This time, I remembered to keep my voice down, so only I could hear it. there was one thing I now understood. I was too soft. I didn't completely understand how dangerous Rena and the rest of them were. No, I wasn't trying to understand. I was too soft for not listening to Oishi-san when he was earnestly showing me the heart of the matter. I didn't listen because I was too busy pretending to be dejected. I didn't comprehend it. I was just running away. I didn't comprehend it, so nobody had any notion to try and kill me. I needed to get rid of such naive thoughts. As I made the resolution, I heard the bell signaling the end of class. So soon. The day was already over. I didn't recall eating lunch or doing anything in class. My friends were putting their desks together in preparation for lunch activities. Not long ago, I would probably have happily jumped into that circle. My, Keiichi-san. How rude of you to even think about leaving. The way Satoko spoke was so typical and familiar. It almost physically hurt. Huh? Keiichi-kun, is today not a good day, I wonder? We're going to win big together. Seeing Rena's expression, which said she was really looking forward to today, was hard to take. Hey, Keiichi. Maybe Oishi is just some enormous jerk trying to separate me from the others by lying to me. Phew. Trying to expunge such weak-minded thinking, I slapped myself in the face. Keiichi-kun! Yeah, was Rena really trying to kill me? I wish someone would tell me it was a hoax. I didn't care if it was actually one or not. I just wanted someone to say it was. Yet another weak-willed thought. How did I ever become this naive? Are you alright? Does your head hurt? Apparently that was how my inner dilemma appeared to Rena. You're pale. Can you make it home by yourself? Maybe I should accompany you home, I wonder. No, it's okay. Sorry. I can get home myself. Just have the meeting without me. Upon hearing that I wasn't going to participate in the club meeting, Mion pouted unhappily. Since Kei-chan was so bent on revenge match, we were even going to play the deduction game from before, too. Keiichi-san doesn't have the burning desire for a rematch. How pathetic. I couldn't fall for some done taunt. Without even a real retort, I just grabbed my bag and was about to get up. Someone's hand perched itself gently on my head. Keiichi doesn't seem to be well. How very unfortunate. It was Rika-chan. She was stretched up as far as she could, doing her best to pat my head with her petite hand. It felt so nice, which made things even harder. Sorry, everyone. See you. That's all I said, as I quickly left the classroom. It said something to me as I was leaving, but I couldn't make it out. I managed to make it all the way to the entrance in that state of mind. Took out my shoes, put them on, and went forward. Forward. Harden that heart, Keiichi Maebara. They were, for some unfathomable reason, trying to kill me. They were plotting something dubious, watching my every move. But I couldn't hate them. Because weren't they my friends? Part of me lamented that Navede? Well, another part lamented the fact that I had lost something important by lamenting over it in the first place. Perfect. I'm caught up as much as I can. Okay, perfect. Dinner was unusually bland. It had no flavor or aroma. Miso soup that normally tantalized my appetite instead of tasted like nothing but boiled water. Dad was eating with us that night. It was a rare occurrence in this household. When he got into his work, he ate and slept on his own schedule. My dad never cared about the time. Since my dad was at the dinner table, it either meant he just reached a good point to take a break, or he was in a slump. Oh yeah, now we're caught up. Okay, perfect. So yeah, he just doesn't understand the motivation creators have. Your partnership was just a verbal agreement, wasn't it? If it's so hard to agree on things, why not just end it? I feel like it's such an industry with a lot of back scratching when it gets in the way of business. I wasn't able to pick out much of Mom and Dad's conversation, but I could tell it wasn't a very pleasant topic. That, of course, made the disgusting termites on my lap now. Hi, buddy. You want to sit down calmly? That part, of course, made the disgusting food even less appealing. Staring listlessly at the exchange between my parents, my mind wandered off to the same thought process I had been going on all day. Friends close to me. No, they used to be friends, but I could no longer trust them. Right now, I was greatly lacking in allies. People I trusted, people I could depend on when push came to shove. There was something I just didn't have. Having just one ally would have been incredibly reassuring in the currently hopeless situation I was in. I put down my chopsticks and looked over at my parents, who were still talking about work. The first course of action that came to mind was to tell my parents everything. Currently, there wasn't a single person from Hinamizawa I could trust 100%. That meant the only people I could trust were my parents. But if I told them everything that happened up until now, would they understand? Rena, for example. That neighborly Rena, who was so diligent in looking after me, came to get me every day and sometimes brought over a share of what she made. How could I explain that she wanted to kill me? No matter how I explained, it would probably be difficult for anybody to comprehend. My somewhat eccentric dad wouldn't understand, and my high-strung mom who probably dragged me off to a psychiatrist in the blink of an eye. Sadly, that was the amount of trust that existed in our relationship. Even if they did come to understand, what could they possibly do? Unless they could uncover the truth, they wouldn't be able to protect me. No, by informing them of these unnecessary things, I'd be putting my parents in danger as well. Considering the victims in the past incidents were often married couples, I couldn't even joke about it. For the entire Mayabara family, to have an incident, or to just vanish into thin air, was easily possible in Hinamizawa. What was important here was knowing something unnecessary put you in danger. The most unsettling question was, how did they know I knew? As long as they didn't know, my parents might not fall victim. That was one way to think about it, I guess. At least it was like that in my case. After I found out, things started to become odd. In other words, I meant the following. As long as my parents didn't know anything, nothing would happen to them. As long as my parents were here, this house would be a safe haven for them. I knew these were just assumptions based on conjecture on top of conjecture. Wanting this house to be a safe haven, that was the pinnacle of my weak-willed method of thinking. I had to concede that it was not completely safe. It was only safer than the outside. I knew that I couldn't rely on my parents. No, I couldn't risk getting my parents involved. Then the only person who could be my ally would be Oishi-san. Him and him alone. He was the only person who understood the situation I was in. He didn't care so much about safety, but he was without a doubt passionate about solving this case. It was a bit frustrating. Oishi-san is basically the whole reason I was in this mess. Now to get out of it, I had to rely on him. Meaning, it was all going according to his devices. It was just my job to look appetizing while bobbing in the waves as bait. Then, when the fish started gathering around, Oishi-san would pull up the big haul. It was slightly infuriating, but even I thought that was the best course of action. So, then, what should I do? Patience was the first rule of fishing. Just keep waiting until a fish actually bites. But I wasn't simply bait. There were lots of ways for me to struggle before being devoured. When they struck, I needed somehow to dodge just enough to tag out to Oishi-san. No question. It was going to be hard. The timing to bring Oishi-san would be difficult. He was in the city, not Hinamizawa. So if I phoned him from any moment of need, it would take him about 30 minutes to reach me. So I needed to run away for those 30 minutes. For example, if we set up a rendezvous point for dire situations or something, I just have to hide out until Oishi-san arrived. Okay, I can almost see it now. I was still being chased around in the dark by boogeymen, but now I knew which way to go. I would never have imagined this would be so reassuring. Oh yeah, it'd probably be best if I had concealed weapon for when things get rough. Typically, that would call for a switchblade. That wasn't too reassuring for combat. Also, since I was recognized as a weapon by the public, that also wasn't good. Really, when the time comes, a long weapon like a bat would work in my favor. I remember there was a metal bat at school. I could be confident with that when push comes to shove. If I pretend I was practicing my swing, then it wouldn't be suspicious for me to always carry it around. I could go to school early tomorrow and secure it. Just possessing a weapon may be enough to deter them. Also, one more thing. Insurance. It could be something like a note or a memo. I could write down everything that happened as sort of journal. In case I suddenly vanish, the journal would be left behind. With my journal in his possession, Oishi-san should be able to avenge my death. Hold on, I have to... my keyboard, like, tray thing that's attached to the bottom of my desk came, like, undone. I left my parents engrossed in their conversation about work and went back to my room. I tore out a piece of paper from a notebook, and I made my way to my desk. Last time I wrote a journal was for summer homework in elementary school. In the off chance something bad happened, the police could use my diary as a lead. So I should only write down the facts. How should I start? I jotted down my thoughts as they came. I, Keiichi Maebara, am in fear for my life. It made me laugh nervously. It was a line that showed up often in detective stories. I never even dreamed that I'd be in the type of situation where I'd write it myself. I do not know why they are after my life. Rena and the others were suspicious, but I had no proof. And that's why I couldn't write anything more. I left Riley at myself for writing such a passage draped in mystery. Would the police be able to get the hint from reading this enigmatic passage? I could only pray that they would. What I prayed for the most, though, was that this journal never needed to play its part. Here, I laughed nervously. It was too simple, so I wrote down one more line I just thought of. The only thing I do know is that it has to do with Oyashiro-sama's curse. Was that too much? I should probably write more than that. If I wrote any more, then it would seem like I was just delusional. In order to appear to the reader that the person who had written this was of sound mind, I chose not to write anything else at that point. I just needed to add more as I learned more about the truth. I folded the paper and thought about a place to hide it. By hiding it somewhere obvious, there was a chance that they would uncover it instead. On the other hand, if it was too obscure of a location, then there was risk of nobody finding it at all. In the end, I decided to take a clock off my wall and stick the folded note on the back of it with Scotch tape. After that, I put the clock back on its normal position. Yeah. It didn't look like anything was hidden behind it. Now I needed to set it up such that if anything happens to me, my parents could find it. I looked at it from countless different angles until I was satisfied, and I made my way downstairs. My parents are still talking about work. It didn't look like it was going to end anytime soon, so I cut in. Sorry to interrupt. I have something I want to talk to you about. I've never started off a conversation like that before, so my parents are both startled. They stopped talking and turned towards me. What is it, Keiichi? I have a favor to ask you. Please listen. Just in case, yeah? If it's not urgent, can we do this later? Right now, Mommy and Daddy have something urgent they're talking about. I didn't think their talk was more urgent than mine. In any case, I started my request. Just in case, okay? If I die... Both my parents' eyes went as wide as saucers. If I die, I want you to put the clock on my wall in my coffin. If they did that, then they'd probably find it. My memoir. Both my parents remained wide-eyed, not moving an inch. I couldn't blame them. I made that clock in shop class and I really like it. So please. What's the matter, Keiichi? Did something happen? Mom was finally able to ask me with a questioning gaze. Of course, this is a normal response for when someone's son suddenly talks about a subjective like this. I felt bad about making them worry, but right now I just wanted them to think about the clock in my room. With the awkward mood leaving the room in silence, I decided to go back up to my room. I want to get to school early tomorrow, so I'm going to bed. Good night. Saying only that, I left the living room. I needed to get to school early tomorrow and secure that bat. I should make today the last day I went to school with Rena. As I climbed the stairs, I heard my mom call my name, but I pretended not to hear her. It was something I couldn't talk about with my parents. If I talk about it, it'd only make things more dangerous. The fight that had begun was mine and mine alone. I couldn't rely on anybody. I wouldn't be killed. Not when I still knew nothing. No more? Surely there's more. I believe. What? There's still more? No! I want the rest of the story, but I want it to be in this chapter so I can read it now! No! I have to wait a whole nother week to end the story! No! Gosh, dang it. And it's past 8 too, so I didn't even do it with the inside of the hours. What a note to end on, I know. Gosh, dang it. Oh my god. Okay. Dude is determined? I know. Ooh, I should remember to save before I close my game. I'm once again going to save on slot 1 and slot 3. Gosh darn it, gosh darn it. Gosh dang it. Gosh golly. A week is like an entire week away. That's like forever. At this rate, maybe 2 more. 2 more? How many chapters does chapter 1 have? Final tea break? Dang. Maybe final tea break. Maybe before I go. I guess it's all for today, Essie. We have to go to work tomorrow. I don't want to. Wait, what day is tomorrow? Tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow's my last day of work before my weekend. I just worked like... Hold on, I can count. 7, 8, 9... That would be 10 days in a row, which honestly isn't that bad. I've worked more longer consecutive days before at this dang job. So it could be worse, but still not ideal. Yippee! Seems like my doubt was justified. You shouldn't have doubted me anyways. Why don't you trust me? Wednesday, yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday, which means that's the last day of work I have before I finally get a day off. Playing Absolute Peak? It's a fun game. I'm not very good at this game, but it's still fun. Is Keiichi's fault for overanalyzing stuff so much? No, it's Keiichi's fault because this morning Keiichi is like, okay, all I gotta do is pretend like everything's normal, right? If I forget everything and I act normal, then everything's gonna be fine and go back to normal. And you know what Keiichi did that entire chapter? Be nothing but abnormal. He skipped club activities. He skipped like lunch with his friends with their ritual of like sharing all of their lunch boxes. He didn't walk home with anybody. Like, he did nothing but be weird the entire time. It's only gonna get worse for him. 10 days? Yeah. It's just a lot to read, not your fault. I'll trade shifts with you, Essie. Yeah, I'll take your days off, please. I'm invested with this. He's terrified. He is. And understandably so. True. That's what I'm saying. You're still here? Yeah, you're still here. What are you doing here? Thanks for being here today. Thank you, thank you. I did see the marshmallow you sent me. Does it work? Did it work? I'm curious. I have to know. I had to leave earlier, but I came back. Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to have you back. That just means we get to end off our night together. Or at least I get to end off my night with you. Your night is probably still going. Thanks for the stream, Messy. Rest up well. I'll do my best. Thank you, thank you. I have to get up early tomorrow, and I gotta work tomorrow and do whatever my work tasks are. Alright. Thank you for the stream and the lovely bedtime story. Yes, super lovely bedtime story. Definitely not scary at all. I mean, it's less scary. It's more stressful. It's stressful and concerning. TLDR, I would need to install a different notification daemon to make fancy notification with custom graphics. But does it work? But does it work? I hope that it worked for you, especially since apparently you're always sleeping at times that you usually don't sleep. Gotta wake up somehow. I love these streams. I need to watch the VODs all together at some point. All together? It's not gonna make very good movie material. I'm sorry. I'm so bad at reading, man. I can't pronounce any of these words. And I'm talking to you guys after a long day of doing talking. But whatever makes you happy. Stewood? I still don't know what Stewood is. I looked it up and I couldn't find it. Thanks for the stream, Kunkel. Have a good night rest. Thank you, Art Song. I'm glad that you had a good stream. Thank you so much for being here. Is that more scary than Amnesia? Amnesia, as in like the romance visual novel? Or the like actual horror game Amnesia? It's anxiety inducing, I know! I sleepies all day tomorrow? Please trade shifts with me, please! I'm so jealous. Enjoy your reading? I enjoy your presence. Be here next time or else. Don't you dare dissatisfy me. Alright, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm already like half an hour over. I'm gonna see you guys soon. Reading can be tense. It's hard when you're bad at reading and you don't know any words and you're not good at talking. Gotta sell cards? Oh no! Have a job that relates to anything that I care about even in the slightest? Oh no! Yeah, I'll do that. Sleep well. You too. Yeah, adios. Bye, Essie. Have a good sleep. You too, Slayer. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the company. Thank you for the bedtime story. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I think tomorrow might be Master Duel. I haven't even made the waiting room or thumbnail or anything yet. I have to do that before bed too, so we'll see. Oh, I also have more stuff to schedule ahead of time as well. Heads up, tomorrow is short day. You get shorts tomorrow. Bye, Essie. Have a good sleep. You as well. Sweet dreams to you. Rest well. Be comfy. Enjoy your blanket, unless it's too hot. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to miss you until then, and I'm looking forward to it. And also, thank you again. And I miss you, and I love you, and bye. And mwah. Bye!